Welcome back to Navigate with Us.
Navigate with Us. This time, the correct episode 6.
You can't put me on the spot like that and expect me to remember.
I know. I asked you last time. You're like, I think but it's just how much fun we're having. The time is just, time's just moving.
It's just cruising away from us.
Cruising away.
Did you see what I did there, Nate?
Yeah. Is that like a mom joke?
It could be a mom joke.
Are there such things as mom jokes?
I don't think so. I think it's all about the dad jokes.
Yeah, I make a lot of dad jokes. I'm good at them. So what do we have going on today, Colleen?
We got a few things. I'm very excited. So today I think we're going to start off with a little NyW Travel update from Nate, as well as we actually had an inaugural sailing of a very new cruise ship. That was August 8th.
Shiny
and
I want
new.
A shiny new cruise ship.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I think we're going to wrap up with something even a little more interesting. So Nate and I decided we would reach out to the artificial intelligence, the AI, to help us.
Wait, the AI? Is this like the Terminator AI?
I think it's a friendlier version. But we asked the AI basically to help us determine between our two favorite cruise lines, which are, I'd say at this point, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity.
They're two of our favorites.
Yeah. Like, what are the similarities? What are the differences?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. So we're going to look at the results that the AI gave to us and then determine, do we agree or do we not agree with what they gave us?
Yeah. I mean, pretty soon, I guess we're all going to be out of jobs and we're just going to have to go on cruise ships full time. We won't have anything else to do. Or maybe I can hire like an AI to do my job full time. Though I do like one of my jobs. I mean, I like all my jobs, but I like one of them a lot. So NyW Travel.
I think that's a great transition. So give us some updates. I feel like there's a lot of like good summer deals right now.
Yeah. So if you didn't know, NyW Travel is our travel company that we have. It focuses on cruises, and we are going to be using the proceeds from NyW Travel to help fund this channel and help fund our future trips. So instead of a Patreon or asking you for tips, I mean, you can give a tip if you want, I guess, but instead you can reach out to me. It's at NyWTravel.com. And right now we have a great opportunity actually with Virgin Voyages, which is quickly becoming one of our preferred vendors at NyW Travel. They are offering up to $500 off Caribbean voyages. So this is now through August 22nd of 2023, in case you're watching this sometime in the future. And basically right now they're offering up to $400 off remaining Caribbean and repositioning voyages for 2023, up to $500 Caribbean voyages departing January through April 24th. And I actually just helped a client book this, or sailor. They're all sailors.
Yes, that's the lingo.
That's the lingo. Yeah, get it correct. So I just helped a sailor book a cruise for April, and they were able to take care of that deal. So also you can get up to $500 off voyages departing January through April 24, up to $600 in premium drinks per cabin on at least 7 nights long. So it's going to vary. It's going to be a little bit less if it's a shorter cruise and cabin type. And then up to $300 in premium drinks on cabin sailings, 6 nights long. And then also, too, I believe there's some sailor loot, which you can use on board, which we can throw in as well, too. But if you want more details, reach out to me. It's NyWTravel.com. NyWTravel.com. We'd love to help you book your next dream cruise vacation. But enough.
That's exciting, Nate. And I think one of the things I like about Virgin is that they're shorter cruises too, like 4 or 5 day cruises. So if you're new to cruising and you just want to kind of get a feel of what it's like this is a great way to kind of get your feet wet.
Well, I like them because they're just easy to work with. Like, they've just set this thing up so it's really seamless. It's easy to work with. In fact, it's so easy. If you want to book a cruise, you're like, hey, I want to go on Virgin. There's a link that'll be down in the description. It'll take you right to my landing page with Virgin. You can actually book a cruise, and then I'll follow up with you, make sure you got everything that you're entitled to with that cruise. So if you're chomping at the bit and you want to become a sailor on Virgin Voyages, you can go right down in the description, book a cruise right away, and then I'll take care of you every step of the way after that.
That's awesome. And I know we mentioned last time when we kind of introduced NyW Travel is that this is no cost to people to use your services.
Yep. There's no additional cost. The cruise lines, so just in case you didn't know how travel agents get paid, cruise lines pay our commission, right? So they're happy to work with us because we bring them more business. We do marketing on their behalf, right? So at the end, it does save them some money to have a network of agents. And again, so never cost anything extra. But again, check it out if you want to book a cruise. All right. So what do we got up first here?
Topic number 2. Let's talk a little Norwegian Viva. Viva Las Vegas? Not quite. Viva Europe. So Norwegian Cruise Line released its inaugural cruising with the second in the Prima class, and the ship is called Viva.
Viva. I know that's all you think of, though.
I know you think Viva Las Vegas. Exactly. So this set sail, first guests on board August 7th. So just a few short weeks ago. And they're actually going to be primarily sailing right now in the European area. So it looks like the first cruise started off in Barcelona, went to Rome, and had some fantastic stops in between. But the Viva is also going to be sailing beside Europe, the Caribbean, Alaska. So it's going to be all over.
Yeah, I mean, the European season is typically pretty short. You know, it runs like May through maybe late October, if that. And then most of those ships will reposition to either the Caribbean or down to sometimes over to Asia as well, too.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about the Viva. I think it's pretty impressive when you look at its stats.
I got some stats here, right? So it is 142,500 gross registered tonnage. I don't know what a tonnage is. Someone leave it down in the description if you know what that is.
It's a big ship.
It's a big ship. It's a ton of ship. 3,000, it can hold 3,099 guest capacity at double occupancy. So that means it can actually hold more, right? Because some of the rooms can hold 3 or 4 people.
Right.
It's 965 feet long. It has a max beam of 133 feet. It was built obviously this year, and also carries 1,506 crew. So that's a pretty good crew to passenger ratio.
I would say so. Yeah. I was kind of blown away with the dining. I'll admit that's what sort of caught my eye.
Yeah. Was there a restaurant that you saw that you liked more than the other ones?
Well, I kind of like the Scarpetta restaurant. What's it called? Ona?
Something like that.
But who doesn't like some good Italian food, especially on a cruise ship? You know, you're trying to squeeze in your little bathing suit, and your little pasta.
Yeah, that doesn't really work very well on the cruises after a while.
Eating too much pasta. Yeah, but 20 dining venues, including 10 specialty restaurants, 11 bars and lounges, a casino. Like, it just goes on and on.
Yeah, it's another big ship. I think one of the things I liked that they've done in the Prima class here is the Haven now, which we've stayed in the Haven, is on the back of the ship, which I think is a much better place because the wind that you get on the front of the ship is like crazy. Half the days they couldn't even have the umbrellas open.
Yeah, it was a little gusty. I mean, it's beautiful because you can kind of see like where you're sailing into. But yeah, the
wind. You
wind.
can see where you've been. Right?
Exactly. Now with the Viva, you can see where you've been.
Yeah. I also have to say this spa and fitness center. I don't know if you took a look at that. It's super, super nice. And again, you can get like a pass to their thermal suite. And it's just this like beautiful pool with, water coming down in the back. Again, they offer all the types of spa treatments that you would want. Some of the other features, though, it has, again, those dry slides. So it has 3 dry slides, and I think one of them's like a drop slide, basically just like drops you out, but no water.
I don't know. I've seen them. They look terrifying because they're basically like attached to the side of the ship.
Yeah, but that's like half the fun, right? Is the terrifying. Well, if you want something that's a little bit more your speed, they do have the Galaxy Pavilion, which is like the 3D not 3D, but the virtual reality.
Yeah, the different games and rides and.
Oh, and here it is, Onda.
Onda.
By
Okay, I'm
Scarpetta.
thinking it was Anna.
Anna.
Okay,
No.
Onda. Yes.
Yep. And of course they have that 3-story race car track.
Yep, and you've actually been on it on the Encore.
Well, yeah, it's not the 3-story one, but I don't
You
know.
went on the earlier version.
Yeah, the earlier version where after I got off, I got yelled at by another passenger because they accused me of running into them. And what happened the whole time is, you pass people and stuff like that. So for the most of the race, I was behind this young man, and I think it was his sister in front of him. And of course he's ramming her the whole time. But at some point during the race, I ended up passing him. And so when we finished, she gets out, looks at me, and she's like, "You're an adult. Why were you?" I'm like, "I wasn't hitting you. It was this guy right behind you." And of course, like, he's keeping quiet.
Right,
right. But he hit her like multiple times. And I was only behind her for like literally the last half a lap there.
Well, people take their car racing seriously on these ships.
Yeah, I was having
beware.
fun. I was having fun. I think I came in first. Didn't I come in first?
I think you may be fibbing a little. Telling some porkies over there, Nate.
So anyways, so another cool ship. Again, some of the things that are a little bit controversial on this ship are there's like this whole fun zone thing, but from what I've heard, called Tea Time. But what I've heard is a lot of the games are that extra money. So again, that's the thing. Some of why I like some other cruise lines a little bit better is I don't like the everything nickel and dime.
Yeah, that's tough for a family of 4, and you're like, oh, well, let's go play. I think it was like, I don't know if mini golf was part of that. I think it's like a amped up version of the mini golf. So it's a little, I guess. I think there's a chance that you can actually win a free cruise. I think there was like some perks.
Oh, yes. There was like the thing, if the final putt,
Yes.
just you get that, win a free cruise.
But that starts to add up when you start doing all those extras.
Yeah. I just want to pay one price and get on the ship. So again, and I think that's why a lot of more cruises are starting to move. I think that, newer entrants into the space are kind of picking up on that, everything included. So that would be like Virgin, MSC Explora is another one that's on the really high-end luxury, but same thing. Like, it's basically one fee. I think the only thing they charge extra is for like a chef's table dining experience. But again, obviously very different than NCL.
So what do you think? Do you wanna try to fit that into our schedule at some point?
I don't see where that one's fitting in for the next couple of years, because we are trying to. Right now we're trying to fit in a Virgin cruise. We have another Apex sailing coming up in December, and then we have Icon of the Seas, and then we might be on Beyond, but that's still up for. That's kind of in the air. And then next December, so December of 2024, Oceania is coming up, and then followed in May of 2025, Alaska. So we've got a lot of cruises mapped out here.
Yeah, I think our schedule is pretty full, so it's hard because there's so many good ships to try to get on.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be probably some newer ships out there as well too. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen in the next couple of years. But if you could get on board any ship right now, like, what ship would you want to get on?
Ooh, honestly, Explora. Like, I mean, is there like a budget I have to stay within?
No, there's no. This is an imaginary world where we pretend we're the federal government and just print unlimited money. You can get on whatever ship that you want.
Okay. I'm gonna lean towards Explora. It looks very, very cool. It looks. I just like the smaller ship idea. I think we've done a lot of sailing on some large ships with a lot of people, and that is what I'm actually excited for in the coming months and years, as we're starting to kind of evolve on the types of cruise ships that we're going on, so that we can not only just say like, oh, we've been on like these Oasis class or these Edge class ships, that we've done some maybe smaller scale and do some comparisons, because I think you're going to get a very different experience.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I am looking forward to about Oceania is just like to see how differentiated the experience is. Again, it's a little bit more, say a little bit, it's a lot more expensive, but actually it's not as expensive as what we're paying for. I mean, but Icon's also brand new ship. I think for me, definitely MSC Explorer does look really, really cool. But one thing that I might want to try out someday is the Ponant. So the French cruise line that's more the expedition cruise line. So I really like that episode of Kara and Nate where they went up to the top of the world.
The Arctic Circle.
Yes,
the
Arctic Circle.
Do like your little polar plunge, getting the little, I call them dinghies, but I know there's like a more appropriate name for them.
Yeah, they get in your dinghy in the Arctic.
I know, it's like designed to like cut through ice and do your exhibitions.
What are you doing? Again, you with the exhibitions. It's cold up there. What are you doing?
The polar plunge, though, looks like that would be fun.
It does look like it's fun. Yeah. Or like in Antarctic, there's more and more cruise lines going to, Antarctica as well, too. And maybe Viking for Antarctica because they do say that they spend more time in Antarctica than anyone else. But again, always nice to dream. So new ship. And if you want to go check out Viva, drop me a line. I'll help you. I'll hook you up. Well, I won't hook you up. I mean, I'll give you whatever benefits I can give you. It's not like free cruises or anything, but I'll help you book your reservation. All right. So we got one more thing today.
All right. So this is where we're going to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence and can it help us actually plan our next cruise?
Yeah. I mean, we've started to use, what we call generative AI or Gen AI quite a bit now in helping us, it's actually pretty helpful as a content creator.
Absolutely. So I think this, though, we're going to focus a little bit more on specific cruise lines. So we're going to talk Royal Caribbean and Celebrity Cruises.
Yeah. So you can ask Gen AI anything, right? And the more you prompt it, meaning like the input that you put in, like the more it will give you back.
Yeah. It gets smarter, basically.
Well,
it starts tweaking.
Is that a good thing?
I know. I don't know.
You're like, I'd like to take, it's like, I'd like to take a cruise, and instead it's like, would you like to play a game of chess?
Does anyone know that reference?
Yeah. If you know that reference,
you got to
comment down below.
Yeah.
And actually, if you know the reference, what was the name of the computer that said that?
Ooh. I was going to say a little side story too. When we first started dating, I think you had asked me if I had seen said movie and I had not. And
I know. I still married her though.
I know. I'm one lucky gal.
You are one lucky gal.
You're ridiculous.
All right.
All right. Moving on.
So what was the question that you put towards the artificial intelligence?
I basically asked what is the similarities and differences between Royal Caribbean and Celebrity?
Okay.
Very simple.
What'd you get for an answer?
All right. So I think similarities we're just going to sort of skip over because I think they're sort of common sense. As Nate said, they're both ships. They're both cruise lines.
They both take you places and go places.
So let's start with differences. So
okay.
Size.
So I've got here the size. Okay. So Celebrity ships are generally smaller than Royal Caribbean ships. That means Celebrity ships have more intimate atmosphere and offer more personal service. What would you say there? And if you didn't notice, Colleen's wearing her Team Royal Caribbean shirt over there. So what do you think?
And Nate has his Team Celebrity hat on. My thoughts. So I would say that's a very general statement. I don't necessarily think that it's 100% true. I think that Celebrity Edge class ships are very, very large. And I think that Royal Caribbean has alternatively like smaller, slightly older ships.
I would agree. Yeah. If you go down to like the Solstice class, some of the other classes that came before that, those are small, but same thing with like a Freedom class ship or something like that. I mean, those are tiny Royal Caribbean ships.
Yeah. So I think ultimately You can get a large ship and a small ship in both cruise lines.
Yeah, so we will say that that's partially true. So AI is kind of right there. But what would you say about the service level?
I would say that I think that the service level is a little bit better with Celebrity. And I'm not sure if it's mostly driven by the fact that it has less people on the ships. So I think that, again, the crew to sailor ratio is a little bit closer. I think that the quality of service on Celebrity is, I'd say, a step up from Royal.
Yeah, you get a lot more. And I think one of the things I called out on Celebrity was the fact, like, something as simple as like the cafe and being able to go to the cafe and sit down and have someone bring you your coffee. And not only that, is they kind of get to know you after a couple days. Whereas like if you go to the coffee shop, the Cafe Promenade, right, on a Royal ship, ain't no one remembering you.
You're just another dude ordering up
they're
a coffee.
nice and they're not like rude, but again, it's just kind of like, it's transactional.
Yes, exactly. I think both offer great service. I think Celebrity is just a step above.
All right.
Next topic, price.
Price.
This is very important too. So Celebrity cruises are typically more expensive than Royal Caribbean cruises. So what are your thoughts, Nate? Do you think the AI got it right?
I think it depends. Again, I honestly, when you start, you start with a base Royal fare, right? Like on an Oasis class. Let's do like Oasis of the Seas, right?
Yep.
Going to be anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000.
Yep, on a 7-night sailing.
Yeah. But then you start adding in things like maybe a drink package. Now, the drink package on Royal, I'm just going to say it is outrageously expensive.
Yeah, unless you start day drinking at 9 a.m.
There's a song about day drinking. Or it's like it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
But, when you start adding some of those things on, those Royal cruises start to add up. And on the newer ships, like if you look at Icon, Icon is like 80% booked out for the year, next year. Mm-hmm. Right? It's almost sold out at this point. It's super expensive.
Yeah.
It's silly expensive. And I think that you can go on a newer, I'd have to double check this, but some of the newer Celebrity ships, the newest one coming out, not Apex, but
Ascent,
cheaper. So again, I think it depends, but you can definitely find some cheaper cruises, but it's really like what you're looking for.
Well, the thing that I like about Royal, to your earlier point, is you can basically start at a base fare and you can just get on a 7-day cruise and it's a pretty reasonable price. Whereas Celebrity is a little bit more, it's kind of base or it's sort of all in. And so I'd say when you start to do the all in, it gets a little bit pricier.
But I don't think that's exactly true either because if you do the all in, I think though when you add up the all in and you look at like, okay, let's say I have my base fare, right? And then I do the all in. So that's gratuities, Wi-Fi, and drinks, right? The classic drink package.
Right.
I think though when you look at the difference, right? We've done the math and then you start to run the cost of like, okay, well, how much am I going to drink a day? It's pretty darn close. Like when you think about it, the martinis are $10 to $12. Specialty martinis maybe up like $17 at Eden or something like that.
Right.
Coffees in the morning, which I like, $5. Specialty waters because I don't know, like we got the Perrier or whatever fancy water because the water they have in that aluminum cans, I don't know about you, but I don't think it tastes great.
Yeah, not a fan of the water in the aluminum cans and other alternative paper bag sources that some other cruise ships do.
Oh yeah, like the wax, it's like the wax paper.
Yeah, it just leaves a little
it's like
residual
cartons of milk
flavor.
from when we were kids. We've gone backwards in time. We had technology that could keep things flavorless, and instead we put them in wax containers. So I think you just have to price it. If you just start at the fact if you don't drink alcohol, then yes, I think not Celebrity, but Royal will ultimately probably be cheaper.
Yes. Yeah. I'm in agreement with that.
All right. So what do you get up next for us?
All right. So target audience. Celebrity cruises are aimed at a more mature audience, while Royal Caribbean cruises are aimed at a wider range of ages, including families.
So again, I think that maybe 10 years ago this was right. I don't know that that's right anymore. So Celebrity Cruises, their actual target market is Gen X, which maybe that is old. That's us.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I do think the AI might have gotten that a little bit correct.
Yeah, it definitely skews older on Celebrity.
Yeah, I would say that it's not as family focused. And you think about the ship design, think about the features on the ship. I mean, yeah, I think Celebrity has like a kids club and things for the kids to do, but there's just not a lot of families.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like, look, there's like a kids club. You're right. I think if like a parent came up to me and said, "Hey, I want to take my kids on a Celebrity cruise," I would say, "Okay, like, what, like, why are you thinking about that?" Because I think it could be okay in the right situation. So let's take like a port intensive cruise, right? So Mediterranean, Alaska, maybe even some Caribbean, where you're really going for the excursions.
Yep.
Where you're going to have the kids with you at the excursions, right? Because that ship is just not designed for kids. I mean, kids can go on it, but they have their kids club, they'll have a good time, but I just don't think it's like, kids are going to find it super
I think
entertaining.
maybe like a more mature, younger adult, I think may be fine with Celebrity, but Royal hands down is like, it is the family friendly with the water slides and the water park and the climbing walls and the
Icon has a whole neighborhood now dedicated just to families.
I know.
So I mean, they call it Surfside. I have a different name for it, but it just sounds like it'd be like a lot of noise.
Well, we'll have to report back on inaugural sailing of Icon.
But Royal has something for everyone, and in fact, their new ship Icon has so many different neighborhoods. I think that's the idea, is they want to kind of break it up. So, but we've been on plenty of Royal cruises, and we don't have kids.
Yep.
If we could take Tessie, we would, our Boston Terrier, but they don't allow that.
Someday. All right, moving on to the next category.
I know, that was like an awkward pause. It was like,
I'm actually looking at Tessie over there who's staring at me.
oh yeah, she's off of the side giving Colleen
like this death stare. Like, are you planning another trip and you're leaving?
Oh yeah, she's like, looks so irritated.
She really does.
All right, what's the next one you got up?
All right, next category is atmosphere. Okay. Celebrity cruises have a more sophisticated and refined atmosphere, while Royal Caribbean cruises have a more lively and energetic atmosphere.
I would have agreed with you 10 years ago. I don't think I'd agree with you, especially on the new Edge class ships from Celebrity. I thought that cruise was high energy.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I feel like I actually probably had more fun on the Celebrity Apex.
Because they're going after Gen Xers.
Like me. Just because I think there were so many different venues, and you could go dancing for, an hour, 2 hours. Then you could go watch a show. Then you could go to like the martini bar and just kind of people watch. And there was just something always going on around the ship at all times.
And I feel like the way Celebrity has set up their spaces, it's much more conducive to like having conversations with people and talking with people. I feel like I feel like when you're on Royal, like you can talk to people, but I almost feel like too, it's in a way, it's like a ship of just kind of people doing their own jam, which is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I also felt like on Celebrity, we had so many conversations every single day. I think more than we've ever had on any cruise ship.
And what I really like too is that we met people like the first and second night, and we would run into them again.
Yes.
And that we had never experienced on any Royal ship.
So actually that's a funny story, and Colleen knows this story, but we were on, I think it was Allure of the Seas. And when we got back a couple weeks later, one of my coworkers said, "Hey, were you on Allure of the Seas?" I'm like, creepy, but yes. And she's like, "I thought I saw you." And it turns out she was on the same sailing. "I thought I saw you, but then I never saw you again. So I thought I was just imagining things."
And that, I think, 100% sums up a difference between Royal versus Celebrity, where Royal's ships are just huge.
Yeah. But Royal is definitely a lot more like relaxed for sure. I mean, we've seen people in shorts and a t-shirt in Chops Grill or 150 Central.
Yeah.
Which you know, hey, whatever, man. That's the jam. But to me, it's, you know, I do like getting a little more dressed up for dinner.
I do. Yeah. And I think, I like that it's a little bit more enforced, I would say, with Celebrity. I mean, it's still very casual.
Yeah.
It's,
It's casual.
like first night, we had been, traveling and whatnot, showed up for, dinner, saw the sign that it said, long pants or dresses.
Yeah,
And
long
I had
pants
shorts.
and shoes, and I'm wearing shorts and flip flops. It was fine.
Yeah. But so, I mean, they still cut you some slack, and they understand people are traveling. So
Yeah. All right. How many? What else we have here?
we got dining. So I think that's a good transition.
Yeah, this is one where I think that's clear. But what did AI say?
All right. AI said Celebrity Cruises offers a more upscale dining experience with more emphasis on fine dining and celebrity chefs. Royal Caribbean Cruises offers a more casual dining experience with more emphasis on buffets and family-friendly restaurants.
Well, family-friendly restaurants on Royal. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, the restaurants, you can bring your kids. I don't know if I would call any of the specialty dining, like maybe the hibachi. But it's fine to have kids there, but it's not. I mean, it's not fine dining, so it is a little bit more casual. But there's, I mean, like the Italian restaurant, maybe Hooked.
I remember we saw a cute little family in Chops, and the little boy. I think they had given him like probably a kid's menu, or had made some like special versions and smaller plates, and they're accommodating. So I think there's it's not as if they're not welcome.
Yeah, but I would say definitely, the food on Celebrity, kids are not going to enjoy. I mean, they have someone asked the other day in one of our comments if they have kids menus. I assume they did, but we didn't see many kids, so it's hard to say.
Right.
And it's not like I was like, "Hey, do you have a kids menu?" And the waiter would be like, "What?"
Right.
But you think about the specialty restaurants like raw and five. Ain't no kid want to eat a raw at five. Like, come on, let's get real. Eden. Ain't no kid gonna
That's
eat.
very weird for a child, I think.
I mean, it's delicious.
It's
but
amazing.
But the food is just, it's a little out there.
Right.
But then they have the Le Petit Chef, which personally I probably wouldn't want to go to myself, but that's kind of geared towards the kids. Then they have their steakhouse on board, which again just is like your typical
fine cut.
Yeah, and then that's it. And then
both lines, cruise lines, have fantastic buffets. I would say Celebrity is probably
so much better.
Step up for sure.
Oh, it's like 5 steps up. Like you actually want to eat there. I mean, look, Royal's fine. I shouldn't knock it, but it's like, it's the difference between like, it's good. Like, hey, you go to the Royal thing, it's good. You get some food, you're fine. But like, versus like very tasty, delicious food, like just fresh. I mean, it's hard to explain. You just have to go.
Oh, and the bread.
Oh, the bread.
Oh, the bread on Celebrity. Just hands down fantastic. Croissants and pastries.
Yeah, the croissants are... Royal should not make croissants. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Last category.
Last one. All right.
Do you want to take it?
No.
Okay.
I've lost track here on my note page. Colleen
put
put together a nice note page today, and I've managed A, not to read it before this, and B, I've lost track of where we're at. So go for it, Colleen.
All right. Entertainment. All right. Celebrity Cruises offers a more sophisticated, adult-oriented entertainment experience with more emphasis on Broadway-style shows and comedy. Royal Caribbean Cruises offers a more lively and family-friendly entertainment experience with more emphasis on ice shows, water slides, theme park-style attractions.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more family shows, like the ice shows, whatever they're called, the various aqua theater shows. They have that silly parade that they do
in the promenade. Yeah, especially when it rains.
It's like the pirate show.
Yes, out come the costumes and the little props. But yeah, and I do think that Royal, I think AI got it wrong where you talked about Celebrity does Broadway shows. I think it's the Royal Caribbean that does the Broadway shows.
Yeah, but even then they're starting to stop some of the Broadway shows, and they're doing some of their own productions. Like I can't think of the one that it's like the comic book heroes. It's like the Defenders or something like that.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know, so they're kind of making their own Broadway shows. But yeah, Celebrity is more of in the main theater is more of like what you call that Broadway right? Where they're taking songs, there's music, there's dance, a little bit of Cirque du Soleil-esque type of stuff going on. But the other stuff on Celebrity is really cool. The more intimate shows like in Eden and in the club there, we saw some good shows. Again, kind of similar because they're closer. They're just more fun. There's a lot more audience participation.
Yeah. Much more smaller venues, which is what I really enjoyed. Like, you didn't have to get there hours early. You know, just got in line, doors opened. There wasn't a bad seat in the house. There was like, a little bar there. You could grab yourself a drink. And you felt like it was much more intimate. Like it was like those theater in the round scenarios.
Yep, I agree. So I think we've gone through almost everything. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot because that's what I do.
Oh, God.
That's what I do on this show. So you got to pick one. There can only be one. If you had to sail only one cruise line and the only two choices are Royal Caribbean or Celebrity for the rest of time, which one?
Oh, God. It's so like definitive.
I know. I can't make it as easy.
It's like I have a battle in my head because there are definitely like pros to both of them.
Pick a side.
All right, I'm picking a side. All right, I guess we're going to ignore my shirt. I'm going with Celebrity.
You're going with Celebrity?
Yeah, I think they're marketing towards the Gen Xers is working.
It's working. For me, it's easy. It's definitely Celebrity, hands down. It's got a little bit of everything for me. It's got the relaxation factor. It has some of the entertainment factors. It definitely, has that kind of luxury, kind of relaxed luxury, that I really like about it. I really do feel like you're at a boutique hotel, the service, the food. If I had to only be on one cruise ship, I want to be well fed and I want to be sitting in luxury.
Wow. I think we probably solidified that now, like our favorite.
Yeah, we get a note from Royal. Sorry, don't come back.
I know. Sorry, we've canceled.
It's a great ship. Look, we're going on Icon, right? So, so again, we do like Royal Caribbean. So it's not that, but
it's just It's just a very different experience. Like I expect to probably come back from Royal and the sailing on Icon exhausted.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen. So,
and I think that's you just have to kind of go in with that mindset of it's going to be party fun, lots of things going on, and we'll just have to look forward to our Celebrity ship cruise down the road.
Yep. So anyways, well, that is going to be a wrap for us. Thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoy this podcast, please give it a thumbs up or 5 stars or wherever platform you're listening on this. Outside of YouTube, you can also find us on Spotify as well too, so feel free to subscribe over there. Again, if you liked something in this show, leave us a comment down below. Or if there's a topic that you want to cover, you want us to talk about here on Navigate With Us, we'd love to hear from you. Again, if you're ready for your next cruise, go over to NyWTravel.com. That's NyWTravel.com. There's a form over there where you can just give me some basic information, name, email, what you're looking for, and we'll get back in touch with you. And other than that, we'd like to always say, remember to navigate your world.